Hey, hi, good morning everyone. This is Ram. The idea that we are proposing is implementing GitOps for Kubernetes administration. The current problem is that we are making a manual changes in Kubernetes clusters across all the three BUs, which is a huge risk. So the idea that we are proposing is automating infra changes to Kubernetes clusters using CI/CD pipeline. Currently, the CI/CD pipeline is active and running for application code, but we do not have CI/CD pipeline for the infra changes. So the solution that we're proposing is GitOps model using Argo CD tool. Argo CD tool is open source and it has the best rating among the communities. The benefits it provides are changes in cluster using continuous delivery pipeline, change tracking and auditing via ServiceNow and GitOps, disaster recovery automation for cluster upgrades and configuration drift across the clusters. Now let's move to the next slide. So in this diagram, there are various components that you see. I would like to explain end-to-end workflow, how things work when you deploy Argo CD using CD pipeline. Let's consider the current scenario. The user is trying to make a change in the cluster directly, and there is no Kubernetes manifest repo and there is no Argo CD controller. Now we want to improve this process. How we can improve is that we need to build Kubernetes manifest repo by extracting the repo and data from Kubernetes, and also we need to install Argo CD as one of the object in Kubernetes controllers. So once this setup is done, when user tries to make a change and when user commits the code, the Argo CD automatically identifies the change in the source code and it will apply that change in the cluster. So this is done using CD pipeline. We will see more in the next slide how Argo CD works. As you see on the screen, I have a cluster deployed and I have an app running. I already have an Argo CD up and running. Now let's make a change to this deployment. So we have an image Nginx with the replicas 4. Let me make a change to the number of replicas. Let me make it 8 and let's commit this change. Note the latest commit ID C16C. Let's compare that with the Argo CD latest commit. You see the number of replicas are changed and it is pointing to the latest commit. So this is success. Now let's go to the next scenario. I'm trying to make a change in the cluster manually. Now I made it 2, number of replicas 2. But if you verify, it's still running 8. So the manual change is not allowed. You can also verify this from the Argo CD. Now let's test the last scenario. Now let's consider the last scenario. We want to perform the DR for the application. Currently we are in Singapore and we have an application running in Nginx. We want to restore this in the another region. Let's go to the Stockholm. In this cluster, let's verify if we have the app deployment. We don't have an app deployment. Now we want to restore this app using Argo CD. So what this is doing, this YAML file is deploying the Argo CD in target cluster and it is pointing to the source code repo where Nginx deployment is present. Let's run this. And now let's verify this. You see this app is deployed immediately. So the application is restored. So imagine a situation where you have hundreds of deployments. In just fraction of a second with single command, all apps will get restored. This is the power of GitOps model. Now let's move to the next slide. So in this final slide, we will talk about future roadmap and immediate benefits. The future roadmap is a holistic view can be achieved by combining all 170 plus clusters from each BU. The overall status of all apps and services can be monitored from a single pane of glass. The immediate benefits are all BUs can be benefited from GitOps model. ROI, it reduces the number of hours in terms of cluster operations. It helps save cost and improve overall efficiency. So with this I'm done. Thanks for your time. Now I will leave the floor to the questions.